Module 2, Lexicography and Allied Fields. In the first module, I have just mentioned a little bit about the relationships of dictionary with other disciplines, other domains of lexical studies. In this module, we will discuss in some details the differences between a dictionary and other lexical resources that are often referred to with a dictionary. It is important to know that the discipline lexicography is not identical with lexicology or grammar or other disciplines. Rather, it has its own unique identity as a separate discipline which retrieves much information from other domains for its own academic growth. In this module, we are trying to give some ideas with relationships of lexicography and other disciplines. We are discussing here how lexicology and dictionary are related, how linguistics is important in lexicography, how word book or thesaurus are linked to that, and how grammar is important, and how lexicon is also important in developing a dictionary. Lexicography is closely related to lexicology, as I have also mentioned in the module also. Both words are derived from the Greek term known as lexikos, which means speech or a word. But while lexicology means science of words, lexicography means writing of words in a systematic order. Although both the fields are closely related due to their common concerns of words or lexical units, lexicography depends heavily on lexicology in many ways. Words and their features are studied by both lexicologists and lexicographers. The sum total of all the words available in a language forms the vocabulary or the lexical stock of that language. Although each word is an independent linguistic identity or linguistic entity, it is indirectly related to other lexical items, both paradigmatically and syntagmatically. While paradigmatic relations is based on the interdependence of words within this lexical system, syntagmatic relations shows words in their patterns of arrangement. The vocabulary of a language is not an arbitrary frame of diversified phenomena. Rather, it is a well-defined system that consists of elements which, although independent, are interrelated in some way or other to others. As a phonological, grammatical, and semantic unit, a word is made of a particular group of sounds, and it has grammatical and semantic functions. Lexicology studies a word in all these aspects, exploring the patterns of its phonological, morphological, contextual behavior, as well as its semantic relationships with other members. As we know, a word often undergoes changes in its form and its meaning with respect to its origin, resulting from its development and current usage across various speech communities in different time and place. Since a word does not occur in isolation, its customary possibilities are also studies in lexicology, including its phrasal, idiomatic, and proverbial functions. The domain of lexicology is both diachronic as well as synchronic. From the diachronic viewpoint, it deals with the origin and development of the form and meaning of lexical units in a particular language across the time scale. From the synchronic perspective, it studies various aspects of the vocabulary of a language at a particular point of time. This implies that in lexicology, words cannot be studied in isolation without close reference to others. From another point of view, lexicological study of words can be general and spatial. While general lexicology is concerned with the general features of words common to all the languages, spatial lexicology studies words with reference to a particular language or variety. Furthermore, lexicological studies can be comparative and contrastive based on the lexical system of any two languages. Functionally, lexicology fulfills the needs of different branches of applied linguistics, such as lexicography, stylistics, language teaching, and others. Lexicography also studies lexicon, but from a different angle, different perspective. While lexicology concentrates on the general properties and features that can be viewed as systematic, lexicography typically deals with the individuality of each lexical unit available in the language. Lexicography is thus defined as the art of writing a dictionary or the science of compiling a dictionary so that each and every word used in a language is presented in its full lexicographic details. While lexicology studies words as elements of a system, lexicography approaches words as individual units with respect to their meaning and usage and its occurrence in the language. We use a dictionary in order to learn about words in the process of language learning, comprehending a text in a better way, or checking the correct spelling and pronunciations of words. So we find that they actually differ in different ways in representing information of words in the text. A word may have varied sets of characteristic features, all of which may not be needed to a dictionary maker, since his work is mostly guided by the purpose of dictionary and the type of users kept in mind while compiling a dictionary. Words are presented in a dictionary in such a way that they can be assessed in real-time situations. For instance, whatever theoretical basis for enumerating different meanings of polysemous words is depicted or captured or accepted, meanings are normally arranged and presented in the mind of a practical dictionary maker based on different contextual usages. While a lexicologist presents materials according to his view of the study of the vocabulary, on the other hand, a lexicographer is guided by the principle of convenience in the form of the retrieval of data from the dictionary. So, in principle, lexicology provides a theoretical basis to lexicography. A dictionary maker may know all the semantic details of a lexical unit, but he has to decide which details to include in definition. Lexicological study of words is governed by theories of semantics and the word formations. Therefore, there is no scope of an individual aberrations. In lexicography, on the other hand, definitions are often subjective and are not free from the bias of a dictionary maker. Thus, we find certain relationships between lexicology and lexicography. The second issue is here we want to emphasize on linguistics and lexography. The primary concern of lexicography is word, which is one of the important areas of study of the other branches, that is phonology, morphology, stylistics, semantics, etc. of linguistics. Lexicography, as one of the applied branches of linguistics, tends to solve the practical problems of the language users by supplying linguistic insights acquired from other branches of linguistics. Since the work of a dictionary maker consists of organizing entries, selecting headwords, phrasing of definitions, arranging meaning, etc., he needs to have information and resources from different branches of linguistics. One of the most widely accepted criteria for selections of entries in a dictionary is word frequency. The canonical form or the most frequent form is usually selected as the head word. Information about frequency of words is obtained from statistical study of a language corpus. In the case of written languages, with established grammatical tradition, selection of head words is not a difficult task. In case of unwritten languages or languages of minority languages or dialects, speech databases are to be generated, processed, wherefrom necessary lexical items and their information can be collected. In this case, speech databases are collected by fieldwork and descriptive linguist methods and are used for analyzing the databases. Also, methods of sociolinguistics and ethnolinguistics as well as ecolinguistics are used to elicit and define words related to flora, fauna, artifacts, culture, and other geoclimatically controlled aspects of the speech community. Information of phonetics becomes indispensable to deal with the spelling and pronunciation of words, while morphological analysis becomes necessary for providing grammatical information of words in the dictionary. Both historical linguists and etymology become useful for determining central meaning of words for dictionary. They also contribute to determine the number of meanings and their interrelationships, collocations, valency, lexical selection principles, keyword insert, and many other aspects. On the other hand, psycholinguistics contributes in selection of vocabulary for graded dictionaries. Sociolinguistics and stylistics provide help to tag words with various levels, such as personal use, nonce use, slang, jargon, taboo, figurative uses, formal uses, vulgar uses, coded uses, and many others. Dialectology provides rudimentary information for bilingual dialect dictionaries. Finally, contrastive linguistics supplies the basic prerequisites for compiling bilingual dictionaries. Thus, we find that the work of a dictionary making is heavily dependent on the findings of various branches of linguistics. This is, however, not a one-way traffic. Various lexicographical findings equally contribute to other branches of linguistics. Most lexicographical problems are practical in nature and that requires immediate solutions. Once a dictionary maker cannot find or wait for a long time to acquire necessary findings from other fields, he has to find the data or information of its own. He is primarily guided by several practical considerations of the dictionary uses. Although linguistic theories are quite important, the practical utility of the theories is actually its ultimate priority in dictionary making. This shows that lexicography in practice is a form of applied linguistics, and although more theoreticians would be a welcome addition to this field, they must remember that The theory should be interpretable above all in terms of its practicality in the concept of compiling data and linguistic words and information in dictionary. We also need to make distinctions between grammar and lexicography. The interrelations between a dictionary and a grammar is viewed from various angles. Bloomfield considers grammar and dictionary as two parts of linguistic description. Lexicon is really an appendix of the grammar, a list of basic irregularities. Bloomfield mentioned this in his book Language in 1933. This statement is motivated by the fact that grammar presents regular and predictable forms of a language, while the dictionary deals with the irregular and unpredictable forms and meanings. In other words, dictionary deals with individual idiosyncrasies of language. It gives irregular plurals, irregular forms of verbs, and other unpredictable forms in the paradigm of the lexical units, since its aim is to present all the lexical units and the relations between forms and meaning, of which forms are not predictable from the general uses of grammar. It is in this sense Bloomfield refers to this dictionary as an appendix to grammar and as a list of basic irregularities. As a matter of fact, there is no strict line dividing the two, since dictionary is concerned with words and their meanings, while a grammar is concerned with forms of words. While grammatical rule gives meanings to the constructions, a dictionary gives details about the different grammatical categories of lexical items, along with their meanings and usages. The basic difference between a dictionary and a grammar lies in the fact that a dictionary is open-ended, while a grammar is close-ended. The relationship between a grammar and a dictionary is that of a class and member. While a grammar sets up classes and studies relationship between them, a dictionary deals with individual isolated items, words, and morphemes called members, and identifies the class to which a member belongs to. Grammatical rules of a language are normally itemized by an individual at an early age, and little is added to the grammatical structures later. In that sense, acquisition of grammatical rule is close-ended. On the other hand, acquisition of vocabulary is open-ended, since it is an ongoing and continuous process. An individual can add new lexical items to his mental lexicon or inbuilt dictionary from the languages he is exposed to. Similarly, he can delete the items from his mental stock if these are not required in its usage. This implies that in the mental vocabulary processing, new words are added regularly, old words are dropped, while some existing words are modified to perform different functions. Thus, the mental lexicon of an individual is in the process of constant upgrading, modifications, and growth. The difference between a dictionary and grammar is said that a grammar is concerned with the general rules affecting the classes of items in a language. A dictionary is concerned with the operation of individual lexical items. That is, to put the distinction at its crudest form. More precisely, a grammar describes the syntactic arrangements of classes of items. It describes the kinds of grammatical meanings, that is plurality, tense, etc., that may be realized in a language, and the formal means, inflectional endings and others, by which these meanings can be realized. A dictionary aims to the list of lexical items, that is words, idioms, and other fixed expressions in a language, and give a description of the meanings and usages within the scheme or usage scheme defined by the dictionary maker, which will be included as a part of the lexical item, which plays an important role in the grammatical system of a language. We also need to make distinction between an encyclopedia and a lexicography. The word encyclopedia is derived from the Greek word encyclopedia, that is means all-round education. According to the Oxford English Dictionary, an encyclopedia is a book often made in several volumes to give information of many subjects or on many aspects of one subject, usually arranged in alphabetical order. Sidney Landau, one of the famous lexicographers and chief editor of Cambridge English Dictionary, differentiates between a dictionary and an encyclopedia in the following way. A dictionary is a text that describes the meanings of words, often illustrates how they are used in context, and usually indicates how they are pronounced. Dictionaries in the traditional form of books usually have their words listed in alphabetical order. Modern dictionaries often include information about spelling, etymology, usage, synonyms, and grammar, and sometimes include illustrations as well. An encyclopedia is a collection of articles about every branch of knowledge. Although some articles include definitions, their descriptions go far beyond the information given in a dictionary. In essence, an encyclopedia is more concerned with concepts and objects from the extralinguistic world. Therefore, in a narrow sense, it may be called a book of things. Information presented in encyclopedia is arranged under a number of general topics, and it is provided in far more details, providing an interface with history and geography. The aim of an encyclopedia is to present information of all aspects of human knowledge. The items presented include names, formation, nature, features, functions, etc. It also gives information about historical aspects, facts, events, geographical objects and phenomena, biographical sketches, and important personalities and others. Linguistic information of various types related to lexical items, that is functional role of words, sense variations, verbal forms, structural varieties, etc., which are also available in a dictionary, may not be usually found in an encyclopedia. There are also differences between a thesaurus and lexicography. A thesaurus is a different form of a dictionary on several grounds, starting from its goal, composition, content, and function. In general, a thesaurus is treated as a book of words where the words are arranged on a conceptual frame and are linked with other words that are semantically linked to each other. It also carries only lexical level information about a particular field or a set of concepts relating to life and society. In database management systems, it is considered as a list of subject headings and descriptions, and that are usually linked with a cross-reference system for use in the organizations of a collections of documents for reference and material. In our general understanding, a thesaurus is a reference work in which words are grouped together according to similarity of meaning with synonyms and antonyms. It is in contrast to a dictionary because a dictionary is made to provide definitions of words along with their lexicographic information like pronunciation, parts of speech, usage, meaning variations, etc. While words in a dictionary are generally arranged in alphabetical order, the words in a thesaurus are normally arranged based on their conceptual relations. The main purpose of such reference work is to help the user to find the words or words by which an idea can be mostly put fruitfully and aptly expressed. Although a thesaurus may include synonyms, it should not be taken as a complete list of all the synonyms of a particular word. In fact, the lexical entries are designed for drawing distinctions between similar words as well as assessing or assisting in choosing exactly the right word. Therefore, unlike a dictionary, a thesaurus entry does not give the definition of words but only the list of linked words. A word book is not a dictionary. On simple definition, a word book is a book of words which usually contains simple one-word item terms to the concepts or objects with some visual illustrations such as pictures and sketches. A word book is characteristically bilingual, that is Hindi-English, Hindi-Bangla, English-Odia, French-Bangla, something like that, where source language terms are supported with target language terms as semantic equivalent forms. In most cases, words are not provided with parts of speech as well as there is no description or definition or meaning of the words. Therefore, it is often treated as a reference book containing words with their meanings in another language for simple reference or vocabulary teaching purposes. In a word book, normally we can have words and larger expressions marked as 4-letter words, 3-letter words, quotations, idiomatic expressions, proverbs, phrases, etc. Moreover, words are classified based on some predefined topics, which is not available in cases of dictionaries. Here, there is no discriminations in arrangement of the words with regard to the different classes. Here, words are normally placed in alphabetical order. Finally, we need to make distinctions between a lexicon and a lexicography. A lexicon is a book that contains an alphabetical arrangement of the words of a language without their definitions and nothing else. The concept of lexicon is further extended to cover the vocabulary of an individual speaker also, an individual writer or group of speakers, a subject area or a branch of human knowledge. For instance, the total words used by Rabindranath Tagore in his entire writing may be considered as Tagore lexicon. Similarly, the entire lexical stock used by Shakespeare may be treated as Shakespeare lexicon, or the list of terms used in computer science may be considered as computer lexicon. Linguistically, the total stock of morphemes of a language may also be called as lexicon. In linguistics, a lexicon is a language inventory of lexemes. Linguistic theories generally regard human languages as consisting of two parts. A lexicon, essentially a catalogue of a language words, it is the word stock, and a grammar, a system of rules which allow for the combinations of those words into meaningful sentences. The lexicon is also thought to include bound morphemes, which cannot stand alone as words, as most of the affixes do. In some analysis, compound words and certain classes of idiomatic expressions and other collocative words are also considered to be the part of the lexicon. Dictionaries represent attempts at listing in alphabetical order the lexicon of a given language. Usually, however, bound morphemes are not included. Items in the lexicon are called lexemes or lexical items or word forms. Lexemes are not atomic elements but contain both morphological, phonological components. When describing the lexicon, one adopts a method to use the minimal description. Suppose, to describe the size of a lexicon, we can group themselves lexemes into lemmas, the basic non-inflected forms. A lemma is a seed form of a lexeme which is generated through inflection. Usually, in traditional dictionary making system, all lemmas are represented in dictionaries by headwords, which list the citation forms and any irregular forms as usual, since these irregular forms have to be learned and to be used correctly in the text by the language users. The lexemes, which are derived from a word through a derivational process, are also considered as new lemmas. A lexicon is organized according to open and closed categories. The lexical items that belong to closed categories include determiners, indeclinables, particles, postpositions, and pronouns, as they rarely give birth into new set of lexemes, as their function is primarily syntactic. The lexical items that come under open categories include nouns, adjectives, and verbs, as these forms are highly productive in the sense that they can generate new lexemes quite frequently, and these are more concrete in semantic nature. Thus, the dictionary or the art and craft of lexicography is different from other disciplines like lexicology, like grammar, like linguistics, thesaurus, or lexicon.